Hey, welcome to Behind the Body. I'm your host, Shamara, with the owner of Muñeca Services. Been servicing the Miami area the last 6 years, providing pre- and post-op education, massages, care, post-op treatments, and so much more. And I'm here tonight at PS Social Miami, located in the Wynwood area. And I have with me some very, very special guests of the evening. I have Nakita with Blushing Dolls, and I have Natasha with Med Miami, and Barbie, yes, that's her real name. Hello. Patient coordinator for Dr. Rubinstein. And so tonight we are kicking it off live with an audience. And Nakita is a newbie in the industry, I'd like to say, but she is growing at a crazy rate, I feel like. Lightning speed, for real. Doing all types of work with celebs and influencers, and I mean, she just came busting out the gate with private PostOp concierge services. So Nakita, tell us more about who you are, how long you've been in the industry, and what you do.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nakita Robin, and I am the owner of Blushing Dolls Concierge. And we've been in business for about a year and a half. And, to God be the glory, we did grow quickly. We provide private post-op care services throughout South Florida, and we travel to all of our clients, residing in hotels or Airbnbs. And we just want our clients to be comfortable, safe, protected. So we ask them to come with us. Let us get you on the right path of recovery.
All right, thank you so much. Now, a lot of people want to know, how are you growing so fast?
Oh my gosh.
You don't want to share the secret?
Oh, I'll share the secret.
Okay. No gatekeeping over here.
No gatekeeping. God, it's really about just, trusting the process, pacing yourself, and just, I'm not going to lie, I went through Med Miami for my education. I started the right way. I contacted her, I went to her course over the weekend, and I just stayed the course. And following her, listening, and just going through the process got me to where we are today.
Wow.
Good for you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Doing amazing.
Now, I noticed you said you did it the right way. Can you elaborate on that? Like, what's the right way?
The right way is educating yourself, researching, having a mentor to educate you, doing it the right way, getting licensed, getting an LLC, starting up a Google profile where people can research you and make sure you're legit, registering with the state of Florida, making sure that your staff are licensed, being CPR certified. And I also forgot to share with you guys that I'm actually an occupational therapist assistant. So I'm not a nurse, but my clients trust me because I do have a healthcare degree taking care of clients. And I've been a therapist for almost 14 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so as you guys may know or may not know, because I do see there's some people in here that are not part of the community, and is that Miami is the thriving industry for cosmetic surgery. And it has been booming over the last, I would say, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
I know back in 2018, it started to take off like crazy.
Wildfire.
Like wildfire, right?
Everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere. Now it's kind of changed, but I will say, like, when I got started in 2017, I did not have no idea that it would have taken me here to this night. And for some of you who don't know my story, I started as a social media manager for a plastic surgeon, and I was on a TV show, and my sister was with me. I got the job, and then eventually, I was led to work with a popular massage therapist that was there. And from there, I started working with a nurse, and then I started providing private care. And then I went to school, got my license for massage therapy, and it has changed over the years. I know you're looking at me like, wow. But it has changed. And in 2018, and you can agree with me, Natasha, in 2019, it was booming to the fact that we could not keep up.
We couldn't keep up. I remember calling you on many occasions, and you calling me, and
stressed out.
My coordinators. We look back at those times, and the boards and the messages and the stickies. It was literally sometimes, and from the care end, for those that don't understand, but from the care end, 36, 40 clients a week, that's a lot from the care.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
Especially for private care. We're not talking about a recovery home where you can house 6-10 girls at one time.
Right.
We're talking private care cases.
It was, like you said, it was busting at the seams.
Yeah, and I'll share this story. I shared it on our first episode, but because the person is in the room today, I'm going to share this real quick story. My sister was one of my first employees, if you will. And she used to do all my admin work, and she thought it was so funny to fill my schedule and my staff schedule to capacity. We would have 7, 8, 9 girls in one day, and I'm like, Sharice, I don't have enough staff to cover all these cases. And she's like, that's okay, we'll figure it out when it comes. And I'm like, oh. But I will say, I made the most money when she was my booking coordinator. And then I had Myriah helping out too at one point in 2020. And she actually listened to me. I'm like, Myriah, don't book more than such and such number, you know? And she listened. But no, and I'm truly appreciative for those times. Because now it's not the same anymore.
Not at all.
But
major difference.
Right? Yes, and how about so Barbie's at the penthouse, right? So Barbie works at a private, I don't want to say clinic, a private practice.
Yes.
So things are a little different over there.
Yes, it is a little different, but we feel very strongly that everybody deserves the same quality care. Because you have to care for your patients, such as you can see these ladies care about their patients. They care about what they do. They're getting their licenses. They're getting the education. You're growing at a fast speed because you're giving great results, product, and everything. So congratulations to you and to you for being her mentor and giving her all the tools to succeed. So I think that that's the most important thing, that our community, our society, and plastic surgery, we have to all come together and know that patient safety is first, that these girls deserve that. Even if, you pay $500 or thousands of dollars, you are paying for that service and you deserve it. Everybody has their budget, but everybody deserves good quality care, and you're paying for that. So
absolutely.
Congratulations, ladies. That is amazing. You guys are great.
Thank you. So, Barbie, I like the fact that, you see and talk to patients before they even go into surgery.
That is correct.
Okay, and then I know you have your friend in the audience there, who's the alpha and the omega.
Yes. I have my husband, my best friend. They're here supporting.
Yes. So can you tell us a little bit, because I heard a little birdie told me that, there's a little mental health that affects why people have surgery. And so when you're talking to these people on a day-to-day, do you notice anything? Does anything click?
Of course. Everybody has their insecurities. We all do. And that's why we wear makeup. That's why even braces were invented, because that's all cosmetic. So if we can make ourselves feel better, then that's fine. But there's also something called body dysmorphia. And we need to be aware of that. Us as representatives, just a part of care of these patients. So one of the things that we pride ourselves in is to also make sure that these people are in a good space within their lives. Because if you're sad all the time and you're just a sad person because you're going through emotional problems, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery is not going to help you. So you have to be aware of that. One of the things that I love the most about Dr. Rubinstein, he also has a master's degree in psychology. So he picks up on that very quickly. And if need be, we have to ask for a site clearance. So even if it's somebody that's very young, like as we know, there's a lot of young girls and young men that want to get a rhinoplasty, chin implant, or something like that. They have to be in the mindset to make those decisions. And it's important. We all have to be on the lookout, because we need to make sure that after surgery they're going to be okay, because there's a process, as we all know. There's swelling, there's bruising, many different things. Imagine somebody that has problems with emotions and things like that, and they see themselves very swollen. They can, be in a worse place So this is important. So we do look out for all of those signs, as I'm sure you guys do as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So have you noticed, like, when, and any one of you can answer this, is that when you're working with these patients, is there anything that gives you like that aha moment where you're like, something is wrong here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually tell the doctor, if the patient does not smile at all, and I happen to think that I'm very funny, if they don't smile at all, there's something going on. Like sometimes there is, women that are going through a divorce and things like that, and they are looking to better themselves. And I'm not saying that that's not the right time, because let me tell you, if a man does you wrong, there's nothing better than a brand new set of boobs to make you feel better. I'm sorry. Okay. It's the truth. It's the truth. So we just want to make sure that they've already taken the proper steps for that. So a little smirk, a little smile, or anything like that, it makes you think, okay, this person is okay. But then there are times that, that a person is very depressed and they're crying and things like that. So that's one of the things that we talk to them about. Right. And we tell them, are you in a good place right now? Do you have a good support system? Because I'm sure that, many of us that have gone through something like that, we have our sisters, our friends going, yeah, girl, go get that liposuction, that BBL, the bigger the better, So then things like that. And yes, it is going to make you feel a little bit good within yourself to get back in the game of dating and things like that. But you have to be good with yourself, and you have to be able to be happy within you, because this is just icing on the top. It's not going to make you any happier.
Natasha?
I think for us, we detect it, definitely what Barbie said with the smile.
Yes.
So for us, we detect it from the onboarding process. So Jenna, who's our administrator for our agency, is over there, and Daisy, my PostOp coordinator, and my husband, also my business partner. But Jenna onboards everybody. So any client that wants to book Med Miami services has to go through an onboarding process. It's not just send us a DM and we book you. So they onboard with Jenna, and Jenna 99% of the time can nail it on the head if there's something going on, just based on the questions that we're asking them, based on personality, based on if they laugh on the phone, because Jenna's pretty funny too. And she's super friendly, so if she can't get them to kind of reciprocate with that, then definitely she kind of detects it, and she'll put notes in our digital file. I think also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jenna, I think also if they are constantly changing the service they want.
Oh my gosh.
Where it's not just, it's like constant, I want 5 hours, I want 10 hours, I don't want this, and it's just constant, and you can't seem to make them happy at the onboarding process. That's a red flag for us. And we 100%. Always kind of within the office kind of joke, and Daisy and I have said it before, if this is you without anesthesia, what are you going to be like once you're under anesthesia?
Right.
So those are the red flags that we kind of identify early on in.
So you mean to tell me you don't take everybody? Is Med Miami exclusive?
So we do not accept everybody. We don't. And here's why. And I'm going to be very transparent. We are not a fit for every single client.
Correct.
So for starters, I'll start with something basic. We have a slew of paperwork you have to fill out to book with us. And some people don't want to do that. Some people want instant gratification, 1, 2, 3, that's it, I'm booked, ready to go. And if you're that person, we are not the agency for you. There are steps. There is a process to book our services. We are not a just kind of send me a DM and then I'm going to send you my Cash App and book you. That's not what we're doing. So it is a process. So we have no issue in it. The coordinators in our office, it's been a little hard, but they've learned to say, hey, listen, we're probably not the best fit for you. We suggest that you look elsewhere. And here's what we've learned. Not doing that. That's for every business in here. First of all, not all money is good money.
I was just about to say
not all money is good money, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what we have learned is if the client is combated at the front, is what we call it, the front door, without anesthesia, without surgery, then it is going to be a nightmare of a recovery of a case from beginning to end. We've proven this. We've done a ton of research. We've proven this. So absolutely, everything you said, Barbie, is correct.
Yes.
So no, to answer your question, Shamara, no, we don't accept every single client. Now, We want to help every client. What we won't do, because we are a licensed home health agency, I cannot just, and those are some of the differences with being licensed and not, I cannot just say, no, I'm not going to take you. I'm not allowed to do that. I do have to refer you out. So there are a list of people that we refer out to, Blushing Dolls. And not that I'm sending you my problems. But,
Girl, watch out now.
Right. But we do, it's not just I can't take you, we will refer you out because we don't want to leave you in the dark, but I don't want to incur a nightmare.
Sometimes it's better to part as friends than enemies.
Absolutely.
And that's what I tell the patients.
Absolutely.
I always tell them.
I like that. Yeah, me too. I like that.
It's the truth. We're not a fit for all. We're not. And one of the ways that we kind of wing out the patients on who is the right fit for us, we actually charge a consultation fee. And it rubs off the wrong way to many people, but our doctor takes an hour in the consultation.
That's
and
amazing.
his time is valuable just as well as the patient's. So we respect your time, respect ours. And at the end of the day, if they choose for us to take care of them, then we apply that to that service.
No,
but I think that it's a way, and you guys do a wonderful job. I think that's great.
Thank you.
All right. So with that said, being that all of us, we're talking about working with these different patients and wondering if there's something there, something deeper there, I should say. Let's talk about celeb clients, okay? Because I know that can be fun. And influencers too. And so I know from my experience, I prefer dealing with the everyday Joe, but every now and then I do get those clients. And I will say my experience has been, it's been rewarding overall, but I definitely like to stay away from them. How about you, ladies?
I absolutely agree.
Okay. Okay, tell me why.
It has its ups and downs. It has its perks, having an influencer brings you followers, bringing more clients. But then on the other side, there's an agreement that has to be made, right? An agreement of what am I going to get for this exchange? Is it free service? Is it discounted? What are you giving for your service? So you have to be careful with that. You have to be careful. Like Natasha said, not all money's good. All money's good money, right? With influencer experience, like I said, it's great, but then just be careful. Because you don't know what's going to return in the end, right?
I always say if it's not in writing, it does not exist. And for my nurses in the audience, they know that is just a nursing saying that if it's not in writing, it does not exist. So I think with the influencers and any of the celebs, and I'm sure you can attest to this, it's all about what's in writing, document, and then just kind of weighing out the value of what is it really worth it doing it for free? I know you'd ask about Shamara. I personally won't do the free. Of course, unless it's like Beyonce or something. But
something different.
Right, something
Beyonce, if you're watching,
right? If you're watching, I'll do it for free. I personally am not a fan, and I've been approached to do a few recoveries 100%. For free, for celebs, for influencers. And, after speaking, with my marketing team and my legal team, for us, it's just not something that we want to do. And I don't know that any of us at the table need to do that. Maybe, I don't know that we need to do that. I don't know what your take is.
No, I completely agree. And I think that, thankfully the celebrities that we deal with, they are very private. So they will pay top dollar for privacy and things like that. But I agree with you with the influencers. We're very careful when it comes to that. But I agree with Shamara. I love taking care of the everyday person. It is a lot more rewarding.
Absolutely.
And they will refer us patients like crazy because they just love what we do and the treatment we give them. My patients get my cell phone number from the day that they meet me. It's on my business card. Once you book your surgery, you have the doctor's cell phone number and you can reach him at any time. So, we like that. and I think that people appreciate it. We were actually talking that I find that my patients don't abuse, but I'm sure that I'll have one.
That's that boutique service.
Well, that's what we talked about in our episode. They pay top dollars and they get the doctor's number, they get Barbie's number, and they don't abuse it. Where they pay us a couple $100 and they calling us at midnight, 2 a.m., stressing us out, multiple text messages every day, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? But that's the difference of boutique service compared to an everyday, everyday service for the average Joe. But and that's no shade, because I don't want our clients who are watching and listening to think, oh man, that was me. But it's okay. We made it through.
But I actually think that one of the reasons why you guys get a lot of phone calls, and correct me if I'm wrong, is because wherever they had surgery, they were not well prepared for the surgery.
Yes.
Because if you give them the information that they need from the get, they're not going to bother you as much as you think. So I think that that's the difference. And it's just really informing the patient, letting them know exactly how it is. For example, my doctor tells patients, he talks about, it's like, oh yeah, breast job, you're going to be fine 2 days out. I'm like, no, girl. He has never had that surgery done. I'm going to tell you the truth. And this is exactly how it's going to feel. And 3 days you're going to have swelling. And this is when you're going to start feeling better. So they already know and they're prepared. Even that one patient that never wants to hear anything about surgery, that doesn't want to know, you have to give them as much as possible. Because then they are going to feel better when they start feeling things. So I think that that's the key for you guys. If that patient, and it shouldn't come from you to be prepared. It should be from the center, from the doctor's office, from their coordinator, and things like that. So I also believe that since this industry grew so fast here in South Florida, it took me 15 years to learn everything that I know. So I think that that's the difference, that a lot of people just came into it very fast. They saw a fast growth, fast money, and they did not put the time. We put the time. You have a great mentor that has taught you everything that you should know. So I think that I really, really feel that that's the difference.
I never thought about it like that, but you're right. Because these clinics don't provide a lot of these patients with the proper amount of education, they look to the post-op providers, they look to the recovery homeowners and the nurses, and, it makes our job really, really tough. But thank you, Barbie. How was working with KMichelle? I just totally want to...
She's wonderful. And let me tell you, she put a light on plastic surgery that had never been done, because there's a lot of people that had botched surgery and they didn't have anywhere to go. Literally nowhere to go. We had one of the patients in the show that she got all of her post-op care from Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
And she had necrosis. For some of you that don't know what necrosis is decaying tissue of her tummy tuck. So she literally had a hole. They sent her back home to Atlanta, and she had this big hole, didn't have a wound vac, nothing. And there was a nurse on Facebook just pretty much telling her how to care for it, how to clean it, to put honey and things like that. And then, so then KMichelle did something very nice, very great for all these people, truly changed their life. We had another patient that she had a brachioplasty, an arm lift, and after the surgery, she couldn't lift her arm all the way up. It was up to here. So imagine not to be able to have your normal function. So it was very enlightening, and what I love the most is that she made it about the patient. She didn't make it about herself or anything like that, just pretty much trying to really help out, and we were fortunate enough to be a part of that. So I absolutely love her.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, and because you spoke about a botched story, right? Unfortunately, but fortunately, I have someone in the room today who's willing to share her story. So I ask that you guys give her compassion and grace as she talks about her botched experience. Again, I'm going to have you step out and switch. So I'm going to bring on Myriah. She is from actually Baltimore, Maryland. And so, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery has its good and it has its bad. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of exposure on the bad. Every now and then you may see it on the blogs, but you may not know someone personally. This unfortunately hit very close to home. After I did my BBL in 2020, my friend Myriah came out here to Miami. She trusted my services and she trusted me, and she decided to go under the knife, as we like to call it, for Lipo 360 with the same doctor that I went to. And unfortunately, she did not have the same experience as me. So I'm going to ask that you share. Okay, don't be nervous. Just tell them a little bit about what you did, what happened, and your experience with that.
Okay, so February the 4th.
She remembers the date.
I remember. It changed a lot for me. I was serviced by who I thought was Dr. Harry. I booked him, but I don't necessarily believe that he was the one that did my surgery. When I came up from surgery, I had so I think you left out a part, right? I had Lipo 360 and I wanted a fat transfer to my hips. I didn't want him to touch my butt. I was like, I got a nice butt already. Just put some fat in the hips, fill out my hip dips a little bit. And so we came out of surgery. Jessica and Shamara, they were doing my massages, and I felt like, I was like, what are these things on the side of me? But I didn't know because it was like my first surgery. So it wasn't until we took the faja off when we saw two big pockets on my side. I don't know another way to describe it other than like, they look like huge fat deposits. And Shamara and Jessica, they looking like, I have never seen this before. I'm like, me either, what is it? And so later they started to become painful. I'm like, it hurt. And so, of course, I called them. They told me to come back in the next day. When I took my faja off, his surgery coordinator, she was like, I don't know, I've never seen this either. He came in the room and he was like, oh, you're the one with the lumps on the hips. The lumps on your hips. I'm like, so you knew this and you ain't tell me before I went home? Like, I'm looking like, what is it? He was like, he said, I don't know. And then he said that, I said, well, they're painful. He was like, well, it's just fat. I said, well, they hurt. And so he literally, he was like, well, I can take it out. And so he used some numbing, he injected me with some numbing stuff, and he took a cannula while I was standing up, and he lipoed the fat back out. So I go home, I call Shamara, and she's like, he did what? I said, he lipoed the fat out while I was standing there. She was like, no way. I'm like, yes. She didn't believe me. I'm like, he really did. And so, I mean, it was excruciating. It was painful. I nearly passed out. They used the stuff to keep me awake. I'm like...
The alcohol.
Yeah. I just remember feeling like I was going to faint. And I remember them putting something under my nose, and he was like, okay. So I go home. Well, I go back to where I was staying, and although the fat was gone, the lumps were still there. So now my body, instead of having fat there, they were filled up with fluid. And so I was going back. I called them like, well, now it hurts still. It still's hurting. So I went back to him a couple of times. They drained it at the thing. He was like, it's just fluid. It'll heal. Just compress it. I'm like, well, how I compress my hips? All the fajas, they don't have... they don't compress your hips. They do the opposite. And so I'm stuffing them with things and stuff like that. Time goes on. I go back. I stayed in Miami for 12 days. I had numerous massages. Like, I got so many massages while I was down here. I go back home. The lumps didn't go away. I call him, and he's like, well, you got to come back down. So I come back down. He does the same thing again. He drains them. I go back home. I call him. He's like, well, we're going to schedule a FaceTime, and I'm going to show you how to drain them yourself.
You're kidding me.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, yeah, draining them never worked. So the bumps never went away. This process to get the lumps to heal essentially took me over a year. he eventually stopped answering the phone for me.
So what did you do?
What did I do when he... What did I do?
That I said, I'm staying away from this.
What did I do?
You went to social
I went
media.
To the blogs. I went to the blogs because I remember when I was in his office with his coordinator, she was like, well, he's going to help you as long as you don't go to the blogs. And I'm like, well, I haven't gone to the blogs and he's not answering the phone, so I'm going to tell everybody because I don't want anybody else to go under and go through what I just went through. But when I posted it I gave it to one of the surgery blogs, I got the backlash for it. Or she didn't get enough massages, or so I got shamed for something that I woke up off the table with. Like, I woke up like this. I couldn't have done anything to prevent it. And so I wanted to share it because I didn't want anybody else to go through it. But I kind of that was the point where I was like, damn, I probably shouldn't have did that because it didn't make me feel good inside. I got so much negative feedback from the trolls, about or telling me what I didn't do. Eventually what happened was, how did I solve the issue? No doctor would see me. I went to a few doctors. I came back to Miami to see if anybody would help me here. Nobody would help me. My cousin, she had plastic surgery in Maryland, and just her plastic surgeon was like, okay, tell her to come in. And so he saw me, and he decided that he was going to help me. And so the first step in getting it resolved was he decided to put drains in my hips, which, imagine having drains on your hips and, trying to live daily life. That was really difficult. And essentially, I ended up catching an infection in my hips while I was out of town. So I'm in the hospital out of town. They had to cut my leg open to drain the stuff out. So I have scars on my leg from it. And so it still didn't heal after even having the drains in. And so that same doctor, he was like, listen, I have a solution, but it's very barbaric. That's what he was like. He was like, I don't really want to try this on you, but I think it will work. And so he gave me a shot of, what was it? It was a steroid shot. And the steroid, he said that it causes scar tissue. And he was explaining that the reason why my hips kept filling up with fluid was because your body, when it has a hole, it has a void, it's going to fill it up with the fluid to try to heal it. That's the body's response. He was like, so we have to create scar tissue to tighten it so that it won't fill up anymore. And so he gave me the shot. It was extremely painful, but that is what stopped the fluid from coming. Wow. So that was the horrible experience that I had.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, because I know it wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. But so as you can see, plastic and cosmetic surgery has its good and it has its bad. Unfortunately, the bad, it's going to happen, especially with the amount of surgeries that are done on a daily, especially in Miami. And so, Barbie, how does that make you feel, you hearing her story and knowing that you've had, over 10 surgeries done?
Yes. Okay. Thanks for putting me out there.
How does that make you feel? And how does that, I know, because you just spoke on that.
First of all, yes, thank you for sharing. Really, I really thank you, because it's not easy. And I even share with Shamara that when my patients come in, unfortunately, we do a lot of revision surgery, So when my patients share this with me, the doctor always has two tissues papers, one for the patient and one for me. Because I really, you're invested in these people. You feel for them. Plastic surgery is supposed to be a good experience.
Right. Absolutely.
It's supposed to be for you to feel better, to fit better in those jeans, to fit better in that dress, for your wedding dress to fit absolutely perfect. That's what it's for. So for somebody such as yourself, that you wake up and these things happen, it is terrible. Terrible, terrible. And for those trolls, they think that just because they go to Google and they have one freaking surgery, they become experts. And that's not what it is. So no, thank you. So you should have put me on that blog. I would have put them all in check, because no. That's not how it goes. That's not how it is. And we are a community. We should be rooting for each other, not saying, oh, she didn't have enough massages. I never had a massage after my liposuctions, and I feel it's
say
the
that too
truth.
loud.
It's true. You know, I massage
That's
myself.
what I
That's
do.
it.
Come on now.
But you know, we shouldn't be shaming anybody.
Absolutely.
You know, absolutely not. So it makes me so angry, because that is the one thing about our South Florida, that it has all the centers and that they catered for people out of town. You paid for that surgery. You should have been treated just like if you were here. You should have been FaceTimed every time. He should have never left you alone. You should have had a team behind you until that was resolved. And for him just to stop taking your calls, that is absolutely unacceptable. Doctors take an oath to take care of their patients. They should abide by it. So that's exactly how I feel. So shame on him, shame on that clinic. I'm glad you went to that blog. Believe it or not, I am sure that at least one person paid attention to your story and did not go there. So thank you for that, because you saved them from a heartache. So
Prayerfully.
Okay, so I want to end on a good note, right? So, you know, we have Laura, who's had surgery in Colombia, and, you know, sometimes going out of the country tends to get backlash, but she has had success with having surgery. So I'm going to have Laura come up, and you're going to switch out Barbie.
Yes, of course.
And so, fun fact about Laura, she's an occupational therapist, and she also works in our community for the last, 2 years now? 3 years? Almost 3 years now. So, well, go ahead, pick up the mic. Tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, what you offer.
So I'm an occupational therapist. I'm also lymphedema certified. So that's kind of how I got introduced into this world. So I've kind of just taken my knowledge and spread it and made it like, I don't know, more of like a healthcare journey, not just a cosmetic one. So yeah, that's kind of what I've added to the post-op world.
Okay, and I see you brought some props or something there.
I did. So when I did have my surgery, prior to having my surgery, I had started selling some swell management products that are medically grade. So this is one of them. So it's called the Swell Spot. Essentially, it helps with all different kinds of swelling, but it's mainly used to break down fibrotic tissue. And then I also got a partnership with Tributo Fajas, which are my favorite fajas. I think probably one of the best fajas that there is for recovery. So I brought that too. And then I also sell medical grade foams that we use right after surgery to put underneath our fajas.
So for those who are not in the surgery community, because there's a few here, and for those who may not understand what exactly these products do, can you kind of explain why you would use these products?
Well, for one, these are basically considered, the Swell Spot is considered a medical device. So in the tag, it says medical device for swell management. So essentially, it has channels. So it helps us channel the fluid that causes after liposuction, and it channels it to our lymphatic system. So with wearing the proper compression with these two, you're just essentially managing the swelling a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who may not know, after you get a lipo procedure, you have to manage the swelling, and how you do that is with these products. Also, you know, an alternative to the Swell Spots are the foam boards, which you do sell, those orange ones.
Right. The orange ones are, in my opinion, a little bit better because they don't saturate. So hygiene is really important after your surgery. So
Yes.
you can wipe them down. They don't hold the fluid or the sweat. Also, they're just a better alternative, in my opinion. Majority of the time, the patients are wearing fajas that kind of like dig in, and sometimes the white foams don't really hold that posture up, which tends to either push the fluid up or push it down, but it doesn't allow for an even flow.
Okay. All right. And so how was your experience in Colombia?
Well, I'm from Colombia, so for me, it might have been like a little bit easier because I did have a little bit better research from my family. I had them contacting, seeing who it was that I was going to be hiring. Was able to hire 2 nurses that took really good care of me, and the doctor that I chose was really, really big on safety. So overall, my experience there was, it went really well. I think maybe he might have been a little bit too safe, but...
What do you mean by that, a little too safe?
One, I don't think that he took enough fat out, which I kind of went to Colombia because I'm like, okay, over here they'll take out as much, as possible. That's partly why I didn't want to do it in the U.S. because here's 4 liters. There, I believe it's like 8 liters. But then when he showed me the video...
Wow. 8 liters.
Something like that.
Wow.
When he showed me the video, it seemed like they only took 2 liters out, which I'm like, I could have stayed in the U.S. for that, but...
So you want more fat?
I wanted
gone.
more fat gone, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were you in Colombia when you had your surgery?
I think I was there for, like 12 or 13 days.
12 or 13 days, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but now you have to stay longer if you want to go, right?
No, it ends up being your choice at the end of the day, but they do want you staying there for at least 2 weeks.
Okay. Wow. So, congrats that you had a great experience in Colombia.
Yeah.
I know, not everybody does, but that's awesome. And so is there anything else you want to share with our audience about your stuff?
I think overall, I encourage Colombia. Honestly, if you do your research, there's amazing doctors. There's a lot of doctors that go and train in Colombia. So if you just really do a thorough research, I think that you'll have an amazing experience.
Yeah. I heard the best doctors are in Colombia. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm a little biased.
You're biased? Okay. All right. We'll leave you down on that. All right. So this is going to bring me to my last thing because I know Natasha has not had surgery, so we can't ask her.
No.
But so, with all of us who've done surgery, and there's a lot of us in the room who've had, the conversation lately, at least amongst my friends, is that men, right? When we do these surgeries.
This is going to be good. I know where you're going with this. Where's Sharif? He was a part of this at the
He's ready for this conversation.
I know. I think we're going to have to yoke all the guys into this part of it.
Yeah, we will need the guys' 2 cents a part of this conversation. When you do these surgeries, right, this tends to bring a lot of exposure, a lot of attention, and it could be good, it could be bad or indifferent, right? I know for me, when I did the BBL, I noticed, I got more attention. I felt like when it came to dating, I had to practice discernment because it's like you want to make sure you are dating someone and taking someone serious who is taking you serious, right? Because you don't know if they want you just for you or for your body. And so I don't know if you ladies feel the same way now that you've had surgery. Do you feel like men treat you differently? Do you feel like it made dating, well, we can't count you, you're married now.
Get Myriah in trouble.
She could put, but how has it been for you ladies with dating men and knowing that they know you had surgery and so forth?
Well, I can put in, right, I'll add my 2 cents that a lot of guys think that you're doing it for the wrong reason. Me personally, I did it because I had 2 kids, and so I did it for me. I didn't do it for social media. I didn't do it for the attention. I didn't do it because I wanted him to look at me. I did it so that when I looked in the mirror, I felt better about who I was. I had diastasis, and so I wanted that to be gone. At this point, my son was 7 and my daughter was 2. And I still looked pregnant. Nobody wants to be asked if you're pregnant 2 years after you had a baby. So I didn't personally do it for attention. And I think that's the idea that a lot of men have about, she did it because she wants the attention or that kind of thing. I did it because I wanted to feel better when I looked at myself.
So have you noticed, did your husband treat you differently after you had these surgeries? Did he act a little crazy?
No, I think he was just more. He did not want me to have the surgery. He was totally against it initially. So I had 2 surgeries, guys. So I didn't speak about the second one, but that one was a pretty good experience as far as the doctor went. But I still had complications after that. My body just does not respond to surgeries well. But he was okay with the second one because I had a tummy tuck for the diastasis. But the lipo, he just felt like it was, in the fat transfer, he was like, that is extra. You do not need to do that. Like, why would you do that? So I don't feel like he treats me any better, any different or whatever. I just think that that was a pill he had to swallow with himself. I had already decided that I was getting this done, you know?
Right.
I love that she said she did it for herself. I think so often people tend to think, as you stated, that, you're doing it for the attention, or you're doing it, at the end of the day, it's something you wanted to fix. And yes, when you have kids, I have 2 kids, and I think Barbie said it, I don't think we're ever happy. We're not happy. So, for me, my husband tells me all the time, Shamar knows, because I want to get some work done, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll work on him. We'll work on him later.
My husband tells me all the time, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You don't need it. Yeah, it's like, no, I get it. I know you're happy. Trust me, I know but it's for me. It's what I want. So I love that you said that. It wasn't about what your husband wanted. It was more about what you wanted, and that self-confidence. I know all about the baby pooch. I know. I'm postpartum 23 years.
So for me, it didn't change a whole lot because I've always kind of been thicker on the bottom part. So I did lipo with hip transfers, but the hip transfers didn't really stay. So not so much for me, but I have met clients who have experienced their husbands becoming extremely jealous. There's been divorces because of it. And I think it goes sometimes not even just the body change, but the confidence change that some people are not used to it, so they may take it a different way. So,
okay. Do you believe that guys really care about a woman having a nice body or a perfect body? Because I mean, a little birdie told me that guys really don't care for women with nice bodies.
My husband tells me that all the time.
Mine does too, but I don't believe that. I think it does matter. I think guys care. Thank you, Jessica.
So why do they look, right?
Right.
So,
no, absolutely.
We got the crowd chiming in here.
Yeah, right.
So yes, we were told by a few men that men really don't care. And so I know that, I don't know who I was recording with, but we were saying like, okay, well, we're not having these surgeries for men. We're doing it for ourselves. Like Myriah said, we're doing it for ourselves. If you like it, then that's a bonus,
Right. I think actually that was the episode that I was with you with, and they actually said, not only do they not care, they also said that they like a little pooch.
Yes,
that's what was said. They like a little pooch. They like a little chunk that they didn't necessarily. And I thought that was interesting as women, because I think we want to have a certain image, and then there's these men saying, no, we like a little pooch. We like it to be fluffier. That was the term that was used. Mm-hmm. We don't want it to be perfect, and that blew my mind.
That blew my mind too.
He was like, you don't gotta be like, I don't. No man really wants it to be perfect. It looks too fake. That's what he said.
I think we should ask the men in the audience.
I think we should ask the men in the audience if any guys are brave enough to speak. Any men brave?
Barbie's covering her husband's mouth.
More cushion for the. I heard more cushion for the pushing.
You need the mic, or you want to suggest?
Just project it out.
I don't believe that the perfect body exists, and I know somebody over there said, "Well, don't look," or I mean, it's almost like it's like that sponsor one, right? Everybody know what sponsor one is?
No.
Sponsor two?
No, we don't know what
exactly. It's a one-seater Ferrari. Okay? It's a one-seater Ferrari. It's on my phone. I love to look at it every single day. Am I going to get it in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Who's know? It's an exotic. But I like to look at it. Okay? Same thing when it comes down to it. We can talk about social media, right? And this is just from dealing with influencers over the past decade and being in entertainment since I've been 19 years old. If you could come here on any given day, right? Swim week, we had over 150 women in here. Everybody in bathing suits, sometimes, fully unclothed, and I'm focused. I've been around it for too long, so I can't see none of that. The only thing I see is business. That's all I see. So any female, any woman can be totally comfortable with me. You can stand in front of me totally naked and I can look you right in your face because I'm used to seeing it. So when a person say, okay, well, we've had influencers that have multiple surgeries. My question to both of you already know. Can you, and anybody from the audience can answer this question, is there surgery for your inside? Anybody? You heard of it? Found it? YouTubed it? Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn?
No surgeries for the inside.
No surgeries for the inside. If you can't work on your inside, you can believe in your mind that your body is perfect. You can believe in your mind that your body is perfect. But what about your mental? Confidence is the most sexiest thing. That's for me.
That's interesting.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and close this out. I thank you all for tuning into the Behind the Body MIA edition, live right here with our special guest of the evening. If you liked what you heard, saw on today's episode or previous episodes, please like, comment, share, leave a review, and I ask that we all just continue to have a good time. And yeah, we're just going to end it right here.
Perfect. Thank you, Shamara.